Hello, welcome to another video from the Animal University channel. Let's go for the video. Bat. Bat, order Chiroptera, any member of the only group of mammals capable of flight. This ability, coupled with the ability to navigate at night by using a system of acoustic orientation, echolocation, has made the bats a highly diverse and populous order. More than 1,200 species are currently recognized, and many are enormously abundant. Observers have concluded, for example, that some 100 million female Mexican free-tailed bats, Tidarata brasiliensis mexicana, form summer nursery colonies in Texas, where they produce about 100 million young in 5 large caves. The adult males are equal in number to the females, though they do not all range as far north as Texas. Furthermore, this species is found throughout tropical America. Thus, one species alone numbers, at the very least, in the hundreds of millions. General features. All bats have a generally similar appearance in flight, dominated by the expanse of the wings, but they vary considerably in size. The order is usually divided into 2 well-defined suborders, the Megachiroptera, the large Old World fruit bats, and the Microchiroptera, small bats found worldwide. Among members of the Megachiroptera, flying foxes, Pteropus, have a wingspan of 1.5 meters, about 5 feet, and a weight of 1 kilogram, 2.2 pounds. The largest insectivorous bat is probably the naked, or hairless, bat, Chiromeles torquatus. It weighs about 250 grams, about 9 ounces. The largest of the carnivorous bats, and the largest bat in the New World, is the spectral bat, Vampirum spectrum, also known as the tropical American false vampire bat, with a wingspan of over 60 centimeters, 24 inches. The tiny hog-nosed, or bumblebee, bat, Crassionycterus foundlangii, of Thailand is one of the smallest mammals. It has a wingspan of barely 15 centimeters, 6 inches and weighs about 2 grams, about 0.07 ounce. Bats vary in color and in fur texture. Facial appearance, dominated by the muzzle and ears, vary strikingly between families and often between genera. In several families, a complex fleshy adornment called the nose leaf surrounds the nostrils. Although the exact function of these facial appurtenances has yet to be determined, scientists believe they may help to direct outgoing echolocation calls, see below orientation. Wing proportions are modified according to mode of flight. The tail and the membrane between the legs also differ, perhaps as adaptations to feeding, flight, and roosting habits. Finally, bats vary in the postures they assume when roosting, particularly in whether they hang suspended or cling to a wall and in the manner in which the wings are folded and used. Distribution. Bats are particularly abundant in the tropics. In West Africa, for example, more than 30 genera embracing nearly 100 species have been catalogued. In the United States, 19 genera, totaling about 45 species, are known. Of the 18 bat families, 3, the Vesper bats, family Vespertilionidae, free-tailed bats, family Melocidae, and horseshoe bats, family Rhinolophidae, are well represented in the temperate zones. A few American leaf-nosed bats, family Philostomidae, range into mild temperate regions. Several Vesper bats range well into Canada. The Vespertilionidae are found worldwide except in the polar regions and on isolated islands. The brown bats of genus Myotis have a range almost equal to that of the entire order. The free-tailed bats and sheath-tailed bats, family Emballonuridae, also encircle the Earth but are restricted to the tropics and subtropics. The horseshoe bats extend throughout the Old World, the roundleaf bats, family Hipposidaridae, and Old World fruit bats, family Pteropodidae, throughout the Old World tropics, and the leaf-nosed bats throughout the New World tropics and slightly beyond. The other families have more restricted ranges. Importance to humans. Most bats are insectivorous, and they are important to humans primarily for their predation on insects, for pollination, and for seed dispersal. Little is known of the spectrum of insect species consumed, but the sheer quantity is formidable. The Mexican free-tailed bats of Texas have been estimated to consume about 9,100 metric tons, 10,000 tons, of insects per year. Bats would thus seem to be important in the balance of insect populations and possibly in the control of insect pests. Some bats feed on pollen and nectar and are the principal or exclusive pollinators of a number of tropical and subtropical plants. Others feed on fruit and aid in dispersing seeds, although bananas and figs must in some cases be protected from fruit-eating bats by early harvest or by nets. Vampire bats, family Philostomatidae, subfamily Desmodontinae, are considered serious pests of livestock in some parts of tropical America because the small wounds they cause provide egg-laying sites for parasites and because the vampires may transmit rabies and trypanosomiasis to cattle. Other bats also carry rabies or related viruses. The guano droppings of insectivorous bats is still used for agricultural fertilizer in many countries and in the past was used as a source of nitrogen and phosphorus for munitions. Large guano deposits, in addition, cover and thus preserve many archaeologically interesting artifacts and fossils in caves. In tropical regions, large colonies of bats often inhabit houses and public buildings, where they attract attention because of their noisiness, guano, and collective odor. In Western culture, bats have been the subject of unfavorable myths. In parts of the Orient, however, these animals serve as symbols of good luck, long life, and happiness. In some parts of Southeast Asia and on some Pacific islands, flying foxes, tarapus, are hunted for food. Small bats are also widely but irregularly eaten. Certain physiological aspects of some bats, particularly those involving adaptations for long hibernation, daily lethargy, complex temperature regulation, acoustical orientation, and long-distance migrations, are of interest to biologists. In species and numbers, bats constitute an important and generally non-intrusive form of wildlife. Several zoos have established interesting exhibits of bats. Indeed, some flying foxes and fruit bats have been exhibited in European zoos since the mid-19th century, and they have been kept widely for research purposes. Bats are interesting pets but require specialized care. Natural history. Behavior. Activity patterns. Nocturnal activity is a major feature of the behavioral pattern of bats. Nearly all species roost during the day and forage at night. Carnivorous bats, vampire bats, and perhaps fishing bats, see bulldog bat, may have an advantage at night over inactive or sleeping prey. In addition, nocturnal flight protects bats from visual predators, exposure to the sun, high ambient temperature, and low relative humidity. The large area of naked wingskin might mean that bats would absorb rather than radiate heat if they were active during the day. They would also lose body water required for temperature regulation and would then be forced to forage near water or somehow retain more water, and thus more weight, in their bodies during flight. The nocturnal activity pattern in bats is probably kept in synchrony with changing day lengths by their exposure to light at dusk or dawn. Bats often awaken and fly from the cave exit well before nightfall. Should they be too early, their internal clock may be reset. A few species of bats, including a flying fox, Tarapus samoensis, the yellow-winged bat, Lavia frans, and the greater sack-winged bat Psychopteryx bilineata, may forage actively during the day, but little is yet known of their special adaptations. I hope you enjoyed this video enough and it was informative. Please like the video and subscribe the channel. Introduce us to your friends. Good luck to you all.